Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Teacher Rebecca, and this is Kelly. And sorry we're a bit late. I had to get my baby situated because she was crying really loud. So I got her settled, and so now we are here. Um, Teacher Casey is not around this morning, so she said we could do it here. So it's cool. So we're just going to talk about recent updates going on in Outschool, things that we're doing to prepare for back to school. So Kelly, why don't you shout out your channel real quick?
Okay, so my channel is Teacher Kelly Tag, and I usually go live every Tuesday to give the weekly reports. But if the weekly reports go away, I'll still go live on Tuesday. Excuse my casual look because it is Saturday and I didn't work today, so I am out of office. But I came on this live still, yes.
Nice. Yeah, it was kind of weird not teaching yesterday morning with VIP Kid, having that surprise day off. This weekend, I'm still working with Bling ABC for at least a couple more days until we get classes assigned for September, if we get classes assigned. I don't know. I'm fingers crossed.
Right.
There's still a chance. But yeah, Outschool is a fantastic place to work because it's during the daytime hours, or you can do early morning hours because it teaches kids all around the world. So you can teach whatever time zone you want to, and you might hit somebody in Australia or on the East Coast or the West Coast of the United States. I mean, anywhere. So that's kind of cool about Outschool. You can teach whenever. I just hope that somebody books books your class.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes are more popular than others. I have noticed that the times for people in the US are the most popular times for me to get bookings. I'm lucky enough to be in Mountain Time Zone, so I can teach at like 7 a.m. my time, which is 9 a.m. Eastern, and their kids are up and they want to have a class. I'm like, this is great.
Yes.
But yeah. Do you find that there's a time that works best for you?
Yes, I find that late afternoon works. I'm in the Eastern time zone, and like what would be after school in the Eastern time zone works because you could also get more time zones in the US. I know Rebecca just mentioned all around the world, but I still think most of them are in the US. And like if I like a 4 o'clock class, my Eastern time will book really well for me. And I know teachers who teach like at 8 o'clock at night, and they say they get bookings at that time, but I don't teach that late. So
yeah, I found that too. When I teach, I guess like 4 p.m. Mountain Time onward, that's 6 for Eastern, and that's almost like 8 a.m. for China, 9 a.m. for, was it Japan, is like an hour later, Australia. So we're looking to the mornings over there. And so that works great. So our late afternoon evenings can hit the other side of the world too.
Right.
Because they're mornings the next day. So it's kind of fun. Okay, so we have just a few updates, and I apologize if you already heard some of these updates on Teacher Kelly's channel. You can always check that out too because she's awesome. But in case you haven't, you're on this channel, not that channel, we might as well just talk about it here too. So we just have like 2 updates. We'll go briefly into some of them, and we'll see what's going on. So let me open up my email, and one of the biggest things is we can changing the class listing. This was kind of a confusing one, and I don't know how much you talked about this one on your thing, but there's sometimes that you actually have to ask for reapproval for a class listing, and sometimes that you can just change it.
Yeah,
so
actually, I went into I went into a lot of detail about this one on my channel. Yep.
I know I'm always confused. Like when I change something in my thing, do I have to like submit it again, or can I just tweak the price or tweak the thing? Like the other day I decided to maybe add an experiment to a camp, and I reduced the number of days, so I also reduced the price. So to me, like, it just made sense to reduce everything, and I didn't really change the feeling of it. I just kind of like, you know what, I taught this class before, I'm like, it could use some tweaking, let me tweak it a little bit. I don't think it like changed the theme of it, so to speak. So I felt okay making that change. What do you think? If I change the number of days in a camp, is that something that needs to be resubmitted?
That one's tricky. That one's hard to say.
I know. I went for like a 5-day, I done a 4-day camp. So instead of charging like for 5 days worth, I just took off, that much money to make it only 4 days worth.
Yeah, it sounded like if you were changing the actual content is when they want you to resubmit. So like a lot of times I'll change the title, like I might say next book is this, especially if it's something really popular, or I'll call it a camp in the summer. So when I first heard that this was coming out, I was afraid I was going to have to, like, every little title change
Right.
you have to change. But it's not like, if you're not changing the actual content, you don't have to. So like let's say if you were doing a class that was about the Revolutionary War and you wanted to change it to the Civil War because you already get, then you would have to resubmit. So it's like if the topic totally changes, if the age changes more than just slightly. So if you go from 3 to 6 and then 4 to 7 instead, you don't have to change that. But if you go to 3 to 6 to like 15 to 18, then you should resubmit it.
Right.
So if
Yeah,
it's
within
like
a
a
year or two is probably
major,
fine.
yes.
Right.
So that
Yeah.
was my understanding, if it's like a major change.
And I can see why they do that, because they don't want you to take a listing that already has reviews, already has
Yeah,
followers, and then totally change it so you don't have to approve it again. And like,
right.
yay, I got this class, a freebie class. No. It's a totally different class.
Yeah,
Plus, if you do make a new class with that new topic in mind, that'll get sent out to the parents with a new email, and you might get some bookings that way.
true.
Yes, the class starts out at 0
Mhm.
learners, 0 reviews, but it gets on people's site. Because I find that when I have a class like from last summer, if I just start scheduling classes, parents don't know that I added some spots to it because it's not on the
Mhm.
radar. So, but if I
Mhm.
make a new class, then I go, here you go, followers. I made a new class. Isn't this cool? Come check it out. And so that's where
Right.
making a new class is actually could be better.
Right. And I like to look at other people's classes to get ideas. One lady,
Hmm.
she had a brand new class, and in her description, she said, I know this is a new class and doesn't have reviews. And she put a link to a similar class with reviews that you could go and see those reviews. I thought that was a really good idea. Mhm.
Yeah, and I've seen one that one person has a really popular ongoing class on like a certain book. So when she makes a new class, she goes, "It's going to feel like this class," and she actually mentions it in the
Mm,
description without a link, but it says it's going to be like these books. So people who are familiar with that style of her teaching, they'll go, "Cool, different books, but same teacher, same style that we all love."
mm.
So you could also do something like that.
Good idea. Yes.
Uh, let's see. The next one is making new course videos. Now, do you have course videos for your classes?
I do. I do. I try to do them for all my classes. And I do have a tip for people who are like, it's so time consuming, I can't get around to it. But I try to put videos for all of my classes. So
Yeah, I have
um,
them for
I'll go
some,
ahead and
but
tell
not
you my
all.
tip.
Mhm. Yes.
Um, Well, let me tell you my tip then, Rebecca. So I do have 2 videos that are super generic. Literally, I have one that could be used for any book class and one that could be used for any class, period. And they're literally like 10 seconds, like, hey, come to my class. Because making a video is kind of time consuming. You might not get to it right away. So I could put these generic videos up until I get around to having the time to do a video. So that's an idea. So then you'll have something in the meantime. Other thing, make your videos really general. I didn't do this at the beginning. I learned to do it later because let's say you change you want to use the same video if you do an ongoing, a multi-day, a one-time class. So like my Owl Diaries books, I did a one-time class and then I did an ongoing class. I mentioned that we're going to keep going through the books. It's an ongoing class. And then if I wanted to make a multi-day, I can't use the same video. So I
Right.
started to learn this. And for Dogman and Captain Underpants, they're by the same author. I mentioned both of them. I was very general. And now I can use the videos for Dogman, Captain Underpants, one time, multi-day, ongoing. I can use the same video. So don't be too specific about your class in the video so that you can use it multiple times. Those are
That's
my
smart.
tips.
And do
Yeah.
you record through like Zoom or QuickTime or something to your computer to save it, or do you use the Outschool record directly there?
Oh, I just my recording device on my computer, and then I do very simple edits, and then just save it on my computer and upload it. So I don't do it directly.
That's
at
my
all.
downfall.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just gonna save time. I'm just gonna record directly to Outschool, take like, oh, just redo it a couple times and just put it on there. But then when I had another class similar, I had to remake the video because I didn't
Right.
save it anywhere, which is like, whoops. So I like your idea of making a video and saving it on your computer so you can upload it multiple times in multiple places. What do you find are the
Yes.
most important parts of a class video?
I don't know. I mean, I know from talking to other parents, I haven't taken that many, or my kids haven't taken that many. That something that shows your personality, because they're really looking to find out more about you and what kind of teacher you are, I think. But maybe you can answer it better since your daughter takes a lot more classes.
Sure. And those of you who are listening, what do you want to look for? Like if you're searching whether as a teacher or as a parent, I mean, you could be a teacher spying on other classes, seeing what they're doing. What do you like about their class videos or don't like? One thing that caught my attention as a parent is I want to see the teacher. So when I have a class video that's all stock photos and beautiful music and text and that's it doesn't tell me anything. It doesn't tell me what the classroom's gonna look like, what the
Mhm.
teacher's gonna look like, what the teacher sounds like. I know nothing. I'm like, is this like a fake organization? Is this a fake person? Like, I need to know something. So I like to at least see the face, hear the voice. It doesn't have to be over the top, super edited, but I do like to get a feel of personality. It needs to be well lit. So having somebody in like a very dark room, I've seen a video like that. Like that's why you're not getting any bookings because it looks like you're in a very dark room. I could barely see you. One person was doing sign language and I could not see her hands. I'm like, that's
Hmm.
not going to work for this class. You need to have well, good lights and make sure your hands are high enough if you're going to do sign language with them. Um, so I mean, that's like a glimpse in your classroom. So I want to see your classroom. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to show your
Mhm.
personality. Yeah, 30 seconds long. Keep it simple, keep it easy. I kind of like it when they talk to the students versus the parents. This is not a
Mm.
3-minute video telling you about, I went to this college and this college to do this. No, in this class, we're going to do this. Cool, right?
Right.
Keep it
Hmm.
exciting. Those are the ones that I
Right.
normally book.
Yeah. So you could talk about your college and all that in your profile video. So,
Right.
and yes, and also what you were mentioning about the poor lighting and maybe poor sound, then that might also be an indication that in the classroom they're going to have bad lighting and bad sound, and then parents don't want that. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm like, I'm going to pay good money for this. You want to put your
Right.
best foot forward. Go, yes, I want to pay my money for this. You know.
Hmm.
Yeah. So those are my tips. Like, I want to see the teacher. I want to see the classroom. I want to hear their voice. I want to kind of get a glimpse of what a typical class would be like. In
Yeah.
this short little snippet.
Hmm. Yes, that's good advice. Hmm.
Yeah, and as a teacher, go ahead and snoop. Go ahead,
Hmm.
snoop through the classes and go, "Ooh, there's a video. I'm going to watch this. Oh, that's cool." Or I like this, or I don't like this. You'll kind of feel for what you like, and then you can kind of emulate it in your classroom. Never copy, but you can get ideas of, I like this, this, and this. I'm going to
Hmm.
use those together.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, you don't have to be tech savvy. Just speak your heart. And
Hmm.
yeah, it does say in the click article, when you go to there, it says speak directly to the learners. So like the class details and the profile video should be to the parents, but the class video is one thing that the kids can see from their search feature into their classroom. So you want to speak to them.
Hmm.
You can do a learner video and a parent video, uh, both of them, or you can just do one. I haven't checked in a while, but I think if you just have one, it'll show up on both. So if you're
Good
a
to know.
learner looking,
Hmm.
you're gonna see it because I've looked as like my daughter, because she's 5, she
Hmm.
can't look for herself. So I look for her, and I'm like, this seems like it's talking to the parents. I bet you it's just that one video, and I can go on the other
Right.
side and search as a parent to see, to kind of
Hmm.
compare if I wanted to. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have always talked to the children in my class videos. I do talk to the parents in my profile video because I thought that's what we were supposed to do. So when they made one on the learner side, I just re-uploaded the same video. I didn't know it showed up on both, so I just put the same one on both.
Yeah.
Since,
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, my daughter had me fix her iPad. Now she's off. Like, what's that sound?
she's
Baby
happy.
push buttons. Yeah. And then 5-year-old's like, what happened? Okay. So they're off. Yeah.
Right.
It is good to know. And yeah, if you set in like fake kids, you can set some fake kids into your profile, and you can be notified as a parent of what's going on with that age range. You can go in as the child, and I have more videos on my account of like what's going on the student side of it and the parent side of it, because there are somewhat different profiles, and it can be kind of confusing which one you want to go to where. And I'll make an updated video of like how to navigate as a parent or as a student. If you have any questions about that later, I can do like behind the scenes.
I
Okay,
like
so
your videos on that has been very helpful. Because since I
thank
don't
you.
have,
Yeah, that's one thing, like with working all of these ESL platforms, we know the teacher side really well, but we don't always get to know what the parents see, what the students see, how the classroom's set up, all that stuff. So being able to see that other side is super helpful. So as long as it doesn't show too much personal information, I'll share what the other side looks like, because that can help teachers too
right.
and parents. Okay,
Great.
so let's move on to one-on-one tutoring. That's a big thing right now. I mean, whether it's ESL or anything, you can do one-on-one tutoring, and you just set your price for that one student. Most make it an ongoing class, so the students just automatically enrolled every single week at X time, which is kind of nice. In case you're wondering how much to charge, do you know how much is like a normal charge?
I literally have seen everything from like recently I saw $20 for 25 minutes. I've seen like $65 for an hour. The gamut is so wide on what people charge for tutoring.
It is. Yeah, I keep seeing over and over this about $1 a minute. So if you have like a 30-minute class, you could do $30, or you can give them a deal for like $25. So you can go, give or take. But I think and the examples you gave me were about $1 a minute, give or take, per week.
Yeah.
So as a teacher, you can decide, is it worth it to just have one kid at $30 for 30 minutes, or should I do a big group class at X amount of dollars for 30 minutes?
Right. Yeah. I think Outschool's going more in the direction of tutoring. And if I didn't have this new brick and mortar job, I probably would put some tutoring up, because people are going back to school. So the group classes are getting less popular, but people want tutors to help catch their kids up from the gaps they had through being virtual. So I really think it's going more in that direction.
And I like that. So as a teacher, you can do a mix. You can keep your group classes, but then add a few tutoring classes. And I haven't done any tutoring classes yet. I just have heard what other teachers have said, but it's good to kind of talk to the parents beforehand. Go, what does your child need to have help with? Is it reading? Is it writing? Is it math? Is it history? Is it ESL, like learning English? Like, what is it that they're really struggling with? And then the teacher kind of comes up with their own materials to give to the student. They work on it together. And then after that first meeting, they can kind of gauge where the student is, and they can go from there. But that first initial meeting, it is really important to talk to the parent beforehand so that everybody knows and they're on the same page.
Right. So you could do that if you wanted to be a general tutor. But the other thing you could do is in your profile say, I do reading, like take a class you already do. So like me, I could take the books I already do and say reading practice, and these are the choices of books. So you also could do it the other way, whereas up front in your description, you're telling them this is what I offer, and then they can come to you. So, I mean, yeah, but either way,
that's true. Yeah, you could be the generic teacher that teaches anything, or you could say, as a parent, I'm going, my daughter really struggles in reading per se, and I'll type in books, tutoring books, or tutoring reading, or whatever, and up will pop up Kelly's profile and go, ooh, that sounds good, that's right up her alley, that's exactly what she needs. So you can be catering to the needs of certain demographics.
Right. Because to me, the intimidating thing about tutoring was like you got to individualize a lesson for each tutoring student seems like a lot. So that's kind of what I was thinking about doing it if I went that route, which I'm not doing right now.
Yeah. And I would say choose good keywords because think
Mm-hmm.
about what is the parent going to type into that search box? Are they going to do like tutoring math or tutoring reading? So if you have that, put those words in your title and your class description,
Mm-hmm.
that like one sentence introduction thing, because that's going to come up in the search box. So pretend you're a parent and type it in to see if it shows up. Because if it's not going to show up in a search, they're not going to find you.
Yes. Let
So
me
keywords
give
are
a
huge.
yes. So an example from my friend Paige, our friend Paige. She had a class that labeled third through fifth grade reading. So she typed in fourth grade reading. It did not come up. So you have to put each grade. So then she changed it to third, fourth, and fifth. And then it would come up. So you
Ah.
like have to have each grade listed out if you want
Now, when you
everyone to be
did
able to search.
fourth, was it 4th or was
Uh-huh.
it FOURTH? Or does that
I
matter?
think I don't know. I will have to go. I think it was 4th, but I will have to go look and see.
Okay. Because I
Or
think as a
you could
parent,
put
I would
one in
just,
you would type
that's
in fourth.
true. Probably do
Yeah.
with the
One,
4th.
you could do one in the title and one in that one liner description. Also, that one
That's
comes
good.
up in
Yeah, there we
searches.
go.
So,
So they can choose either
yes.
one. I like
Yep.
that. Yeah, because the dash doesn't mean anything. You know, you need to
Right.
have like third
Yeah.
comma, fourth comma, fifth. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, so that's very, very good. So yeah, great ideas about tutoring. Um, one feature that I just noticed that they advertise is the Zoom feature called remote control. Have you heard of that one?
No.
So on there, it says that you can give your student remote control of your screen so they can drag and drop and draw and stuff like that. I'm like, I know
Ah.
about Annotate where they can just draw
Mhm.
all over it. But when I share my screen, like my math games class, they can't control where things move. And I kind of don't want them to
Mm.
be.
Right.
Especially in a big group class, it could lead to chaos. Like, I don't know how to do remote control with lots of people. But if it's
Mhm.
one-on-one, there is a drop-down list that shows like either request remote control or give up remote control. And it looks like to me that one person control it at a time. I don't know if
Mhm.
both can control it. I haven't tried it yet. I'm kind of scared, but I want to try
Right.
it. Maybe I'll get one of my teacher friends to try it with me.
There you go.
Do a little Zoom, try it out. Because
Mhm.
what I can see is that they can only control your shared screen. Okay, this was my fear. Like, can they control my whole computer? Ha!
Right.
What if I have things open that I don't want them to, access it? It looks like they can just show your shared screen. So just that one slideshow you're sharing or the presentation you're
Mhm.
sharing, and they can control that and they can drag and drop that way. So hey,
Oh,
if you
okay.
guys have tried remote control, let us know. If you guys
Yeah.
want to try it,
Mhm.
let's go. Real quick, we got a lot of people saying hi today. Awesome. So we got
Hello.
Kathy Kelly here saying hello. We have Meredith saying hello. Hello. We have Marianne just for a few minutes, but thanks for stopping by. You can always check out the replay. We have teacher Casey, just finished our walk. Thanks, Casey. Have a good walk. I hope you walked. Oh, had a good walk. Marianne was walking also today. Yay. Walks are good. We all need to go outside and get good walks.
Right.
Okay, I think there's just one more thing, two more things we want to talk about. Santa. Do you want to talk about Santa?
You know what? I've never done a class with Santa. So,
No.
have your daughter been to one? Maybe you could talk better.
Yeah, no, we haven't been to a Santa one. I mean, I did
Yeah.
see a Santa one advertised on my Facebook feed back in like March. I'm like,
Me
Santa, is
too.
this an old one? So I clicked on it because I was curious, and they had a section open for December of 2021. I'm like,
Wow.
whoa, they're like 8 months in advance, ready to go. But I looked in his
Right.
profile, all he does is Santa. That's all he does. He
Hmm.
doesn't do anything else. He just does Santa, and he's taught like 1,000 learners in this one Santa class. I'm like, whoa,
Wow.
that's super cool.
Yeah.
As Santa, it says here, no, maybe I'll just share. I don't know if I can share this screen. It's kind of harder when it's not on my email. Okay, so it just says that while the holiday season feels far away, kind of Christmas in July, Christmas in August, okay, we're already seeing an increase in class approval submissions for meet and greet with Santa Claus type classes. If you're planning to submit a class where you'll play the part of Santa this year, please be very intentional about the content of your class listing. Your listing should clearly explain the structure of your class, how you make all children feel included, how you address those tricky questions that curious learners are sure to ask, especially as it relates to requests for presents or if Santa
Yeah.
really does exist. Ooh.
Right.
Additionally, make sure to include in your parental guidance section what style of Santa you'll be representing, since Santa's personality and customs vary by culture and nation. Remember, the Outschool class content guidelines require your class to remain a secular experience as well. So you have to make sure that you're secular. I didn't know there are many kinds of Santa. I was just making, big fat jolly ho 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 mall Santa. Like there could be
Yeah.
more Santas. Cool.
Right. Or maybe they just mean the personality of Santa's is different in other countries. I don't know. Or what
Yeah,
he
I don't know.
does or something.
Now I'm going
Yeah.
to go to Outschool and find classes and type Santa just to see what people have listed. I'm
Right.
a snoop. I will admit, I'm a snoop. I always search other people's classes to kind of see what other people are doing,
Me
to
too.
kind of get ideas. Yeah, I like behind
Hmm.
the scenes. But yeah, like how do you deal with tricky questions like, I don't think you exist. My parents say that you don't exist. Well, my parents say you do. What do you say to that?
Yeah. I actually, even though I don't have a Santa class, I actually did have something like that happen in one of my classes. It was like right after Christmas, so the kids were talking, and one girl was like, "Santa's not real." I just changed the subject really fast because it was like, yeah, that's all I did.
I know I've had questions like this with my dad, like, is the tooth fairy real? Is Santa Claus real? Like, well, that's the tricky part because we can say one thing as parents, but she doesn't want to like burst somebody's bubble at school who may believe a little
Right.
bit differently than we do, whether they believe it or not believe it. Like we don't want to burst someone's bubbles.
Yes.
So we do have to be very careful. Like in our classes, we can go whoop, change the subject. But if you
Hmm.
are Santa, you
Right.
can't really change the subject. So you
True.
go ho 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 through it. Like I'm sure they have their ways because if you're like a mall Santa professionally, you know all the tricks of the trade.
Hmm.
And I don't know, like if you're a parent who doesn't believe in Santa, would you sign up for a Santa class?
Probably not. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that most people are going to believe in Santa if you
Right.
sign up for this class.
Right.
Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah. So one more thing before we go, and that's about teaching teams.
Oh,
So this
team.
fall,
Mhm.
yeah, there's a pilot program where you can get into groups of teams of teachers, and you could team teach different classes. So I'm involved in two different teams with different groups of people, and it's kind of confusing, but we're ready for anything. So what I have heard, I'm trying to figure it out, is that we make a team. So I have a team of five um, teachers, and I'm also a team of three teachers, so different teachers, and we have our specialties, and we kind of know what we want to talk about in our class. Like the first team of five has like a reading teacher, a math teacher. I'm the math science. There's like a circle time teacher, a music teacher, and a Spanish teacher. And over here we've got art, science. I'm doing the STEM, and then movement. So we have different strengths. And then we're going to get this like request from these pods of learners who are already in like a homeschool group or a classroom group, already like a pre-made pod of learners. And they'll go, we're looking for XYZ. And as us teams, we can go, we can do that one, we can do that one, let's do that one. And so we can kind of
Mhm.
bid for a pod. And when the pod accepts our bid, we kind of then that's our group. We've got this team of teachers, we've got the pod of students, and they're ours for a semester or a
Mm.
multi-day class or whatever, and then we could adapt to them. So what we're planning to do is we're meeting every single day with the pod for either half an hour or an hour every single day, like an after school program thing, to kind of you work on homework. One is geared towards the upper or lower elementary, one's geared towards preschool, just what our personalities want to do, and then we can kind of help them supplement. But by having this pot of learners, they get close friends, they know each other, they have the same group of teachers, you know, all week long. With
Mhm.
teams, one thing we're talking about is, can we sub for each other? Well, you're a team. So let's say I'm on Mondays and I can't do this Monday because I'm sick or whatever. We can say, hey, Wednesday teacher, you want to swap this week? And then just swap. And as long as the parents know, then they're fine, because it means like a built-in sub within our team, which is kind of cool. So it's still in the pilot program. There's a lot of teachers that have applied as teams on there, and I think they might still be accepting applications, but it is rolling fast. So if you want to make a team, do it now. Get it in there ASAP. They're approving teams, and now we're going to start bidding in a few weeks, and so then we'll get going. So as things get going, I'll update you more about how it's going to work out. But we figure, like with 5 teachers, like I'll do Mondays, and some of us do Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Friday. I only teach once a week. And so
Mhm.
the parents pay for the 5 days, but each of us teachers only get 1/5 of the pay.
Mhm.
So Outschool still takes 30% off, and so the 5 of us will split the 70%. But
Right.
it all works out. I mean, it works out fine because I'm only teaching 1/5 of the week, so I should only get 1/5 of the pay anyway.
Right.
If there's 3 teachers, we're going to have to work out how the 1/3 works to make sure that we're evenly distributing the work. So
Mhm.
that something that we're working on as a team to make sure everything's fair.
Okay, I have a question. What
Uh-huh.
you mentioned subbing. So when you said sub out, do you mean just swap the days of your classes, or you mean you would teach their class?
I'm hoping to
Yeah.
swap the days because, like,
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
think I could teach the Spanish class.
Right. Right.
So I'm like, no, no. So I'm assuming, we don't know for sure, but I'm assuming,
Mhm.
like, especially if at the beginning of the week and you're out sick, maybe the Friday can swap with you. And so we'll do Spanish on Monday and science on Friday. If you're late in
Right.
the week, it might not work out. But a lot of us teachers are flexible, and we can kind of, like, on the
Mhm.
fly come up with something. Or maybe one week we'll have 2 math classes and we'll do 2 Spanish classes next week or something,
Mhm.
so that the
Right.
kids still have a class that day. We don't have to cancel the class. They can still come to class,
Mhm.
and it's one of their 5 teachers. Um,
I
so
see.
I'll ask how that all works out. But like, I know this summer when we did the team teaching for the summer camps, um, there was one day, like, my dad was in a team. One day that one teacher wasn't able to come at all, so my dad took the entire day. And instead of
Mm.
switching off, he taught the whole thing by himself, and he could do that because he was one of the main teachers.
Mhm. Okay. Sounds interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it for the updates for today, unless you have anything else that I missed.
Mm-mm. Mm.
What are your plans for this fall?
Okay, well, a lot of you know I started a new brick and mortar job, and actually, so I would have cut back at VIP Kid a lot earlier, but because of what was going on and I didn't know how much time we had, I like kept it going while I started the new brick and mortar job, while I had all these Outschool classes going on. So I a little bit killed myself the last couple weeks. Um, so I've had a bunch of classes this week that have low enrollment. Like they maybe have 2 left, and like one of the 2 parents will say, "This is our last week. They're going back to school." So I ended those classes, and if you're new to Outschool, you might not know this, but the classes with 2 people take as much prep work as the classes with 6. So with all I have going on for me, I need to cut some things out. It was a little bit of a relief for me. And I'm keeping my 2 most popular classes open, which happen to be, I didn't plan this because these have been going on for a long time, but they happen to be on Tuesday and Thursday. So like my same classes on Thursday are my Tuesday classes, which are the days off from my brick and mortar job. So it totally works out. So for now, I'm just keeping those 2 classes open and my brick and mortar job and working at VIP Kid when I can. If I open anything new, I have a tendency to overdo it. So I'm going to be more strategic about it. I will first open up new sections of my already ongoing classes. Then it's no more prep work. It's just another hour of teaching. Or I might open a geography class because I'm already teaching that in the brick and mortar school, although it will take a little bit of work to change it to an online format. But still, at least the material would be the same. So for me, I'm working on balance, which is something that I don't always have. I could work too much. So that's my plan for the fall is just my 2 classes. And yes, slowing down a little
Now,
bit, but
how many
yes.
sections of each class are you teaching?
2. So I have like 2 classes, 1 section Tuesday, and then Tuesday of both of the classes, and then Thursday of the same 2 classes, 1 section each. So both of the 2 classes have 2
Okay.
sections. Yes.
Okay, so you have 4 sections total, 2 of one class, 2 of the other class.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And
So,
that's I found is the way to strategize it to do it. If you open up 7 classes, 7 sections of each class, you're going to have like one person, one person, one
yeah.
person, one person. No. And this summer I went from having 7 sections of each class and I've slowly dwindled them away. If once one has just like one person in it for a couple of weeks, I'm like, can we move you to another class? Because I'm going to close this down. So all summer long, I've been closing some down. So now I'm doing 7 and 7. I'm down to 4 and 3. Now, as those 4 start to fill up, then I'll add a 5th one.
Right.
So as your 2 start to fill up, you can add on a 3rd one, either the same day or a different day. But my strategy is fill those at first, almost full. So if you have cap of 6 kids, once you hit about 5 kids, go open another one up.
Yes.
So you can slowly add them as you go so they can all kind of build, because these people will still come and go a little bit, but you want to maintain this fullness. Plus, if you have them almost full, you can get those tags saying 1 spot left or 2 spots left, or one of 3 classes have been sold out already. So you want to get those tags on there. If you start with too many, you're not going to get those tags. So my strategy is close them down and then start to slowly open them up once we get enrollments again.
Definitely. That's what I try to do. And if you decide you want to open your business, again, let me reiterate, just because I've made this mistake, just open new sections before you open a whole new class, because a whole new class is a whole new amount of prep work.
Yeah, a whole new prep. I was thinking with like 1 ongoing class, maybe 2 ongoing classes. Ongoing are the best way to go, but then you're prepping something new every week, whether it's a new reading worksheet or a new math thing or a new science thing. It's like a brand new class every week, but you're going to teach it 3 times, and then a new one, and you can teach it like 3 or 4 times. So that's kind of nice, but it is a lot of prep. So if you have like 3 classes, like I'm teaching math and I'm teaching science and I'm teaching reading, or geography, you're prepping for all those. So I like the idea. It's just focus on one. You can throw in some one-time classes here or there. I try to make a new one-time class once a month or so, just so the parents see my name in their email saying, oh yeah, you are still teaching. I am seeing new classes from you. And only open like 2 sections of that one-time class. See if those fill. And one-time classes are hit or miss, but it's worth it to try and keep your name out there.
Good point. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, well, we're over half an hour.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, what happened to the time? So we'll close it today. Next week, we should be back on Teacher Casey's channel at about this time on Saturday. And whoever can be there can be there. And thank you guys all for coming today. If you watch it live or replay, press like, press subscribe, leave a little comment below. We'd love to hear your input. Even if you don't make it live, leave a comment. We'll talk back. Thanks, Kelly, for coming today and helping out.
No problem.
You got some good insights. And I'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.